Kevin Klein, Director of Member Services with the Metropolitan Golf Association.
And then I'm Santana Shipley, the Community Operations Manager with the IAGA.
I'm Preston McClellan, CEO of Golf Space Collective. So we already discussed Kevin Klein for the Metropolitan Golf Association, talk about some activations that they've done with Golf City and GiA&x. I believe I said that correctly. I'm not a New Yorker, but I was practicing that ahead of the call. So Kevin's going to kind of, if you don't mind, just give us a broad overview of what we're going to talk about today, and then we'll get into some specific questions with you.
Sure. Well, the MGA embarked on what the USGA put out a couple of years ago, Influencer Playbook. So we figured we'd do our part in putting something together. And just through some grassroots efforts, was able to meet Greg GiA&x, who is a host of a local radio station and radio show here in New York metropolitan area, and then Golficity, which is also a local content producer influencer tandem from New Jersey that we reached out to, and we're able to put something really cool together. So the video I think that we'll talk about today, just the content that they put together, which was highlighting one of our public facilities. And in addition, just highlighting what the MGA is, who we are, what we do, and promoting getting a handicap to people who may not have them.
Awesome. Perfect. I think that leads us straight in here I want to ask, how did the collaboration start? Was it something that you proactively seeked out, or was it something that kind of came to you?
Yeah, I'd say we definitely sought it out. It all happened, I guess, summer of 23. I saw that GiA was doing an appearance at a liquor store by our office, and I'm a big fan of their radio program in the morning. It's GiA and then Boomer Esiason, who's a former NFL quarterback, have the #1 rated sports program show in the area. So I saw GiA, who is from Long Island, where I grew up, was going to be at a liquor store. So I decided to go over there with some swag and stood online with part of my team, and we got to meet him. He's been really getting into golf over the last couple of years, and he talks more golf on the radio now with Boomer, who's always been into golf. So I thought it was a good opportunity to meet somebody who's got the audience and the community to get out there and talk about potentially the MGA. So showed up online, gave him some swag. He didn't know who we were. I'd never heard of us, but introduced ourselves and was appreciative. And then the next morning on their program, he was wearing our MGA stuff, and he was talking about how he met some people at the MGA that came to visit him, and that was amazing. So I recorded that. I woke up at 5:45 in the morning to record that. So it kind of all went from there. And then they talked about the MGA a little bit. He actually signed up for a handicap at an MGA member club. And then fast forward, I guess, to the beginning of this season, when we were talking about doing something for the playbook. We reached out to the salespeople at WFAN, the radio program, and work with them to kind of put this together. So we did run ads on WFAN during the early part of the season. GiA and Boomer would do reads, which really turned into some organic conversation just about golf and the MGA. And then we had been talking with these Golficity guys over the last year or so, wanting to do something with them. So this all kind of came together to say, hey, let's do something with Golficity, focusing on our public facilities, highlighting getting a handicap. And then maybe we can use a celebrity like GiA, who's just getting into golf, who's our kind of that core golfer, like a 40-year-old male, just getting into the game, but is a diehard and is playing it all the time now. And it really came together nicely. So yeah, it was kind of grassroots, just showing up at a liquor store to make that intro. And then it went from there to working with their station on advertising and working with Golficity to put this all together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before I get into our next proposed question, I think you highlighted something I wanted to hit on, is just your market really well. And I think every AGA in the area that you're in is unique, right? And these folks are big time personalities in the New York metro area. So can you just speak briefly to how important it is for folks within each association to really understand the market and what types of content and people are going to resonate with your potential audiences?
Yeah, so just knowing that GiA was a new golfer to the game, and they're talking about golf. There really isn't any medium that's talking about golf unless you go to Golf Digest or watch the Golf Channel. There are no other radio stations or TV programs in the area that discuss golf. So the fact that they would do that really was amazing for me, just being a fan of the game and doing what I do as my job, to hear them talk about golf. So it kind of just made sense for us to be like, let's try and target this group of people to be able to do what we did, because nobody else is talking golf, and they are talking to the sports fanatic, the 25 to 45-year-old male that's out there. Other demographics of the females and juniors may not totally fit into that category, and we'll have to work on figuring that kind of part of it out. But for that 25 to 45-year-old male category of people getting into the game over the last 4 years because of the pandemic, GiA is an example of that. So just, knowing the audience, knowing the public facilities in the metropolitan area, he fit that description. So it just made sense for us to try and, see if it was a possibility, and I'm glad it worked out.
Absolutely. No, it makes total sense. And so kind of getting to the next question, how did the idea of incorporating the World Handicap System, like education, into the video, come about? Because I know that's something that a lot of, is that they're constantly looking for ways to do, is educate their memberships and potential memberships about what that is.
Yeah. So when we talked with, in the same room I'm sitting in now, we had the guys from Golficity come in and just kind of talk through, what we thought might work, and they gave us their ideas. And, ultimately for what we're trying to do is promote the MGA, promote our membership to golfers in the area, and getting a handicap is one of the biggest things. And as everyone who's listening to this knows, the USGA has been putting a lot of marketing behind getting a handicap through the USGA AGA golf clubs and through the materials that they are providing to the AGA. So it just made sense that we would highlight a public facility where the growth of the game is really going to come from, and then promote what we do as an association to provide services to the golfers, and getting a handicap is one of them. And then getting into what you do with that handicap and posting your scores, tracking your stats, seeing how much better you're getting, and kind of playing that to the audience. And as you saw in the video, we touched on different things regarding course rating and handicap, and some rules of handicapping, just for the, the average person that wouldn't confuse them, but that might make sense to them, just explaining, how the handicap system actually works.
Right on. I was gonna say, I think that's a good transition to our next question. Just talking about that educational component. How would you say featuring such well-known personalities kind of enhance that educational component, and what lessons would you draw for that for any future educational collaborations?
Yeah, so the Golficity guys, they pretty popular. They are local, they are members of MGA member clubs, but they do travel the world and create content for companies and golf courses all over the place. So getting them with a large audience was key. And then getting a local celebrity like GiA, I think it was important for him and for us, for him talking about it on the radio. So, this video has been active for 3 weeks now. I think it's at about 14,000 views. He and Boomer are still talking about it because they get a kick out of it, or somebody will call in and talk about it, and then it just brings up the MGA. So it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Whether he's wearing, an MGA sweatshirt or a shirt on one day when he's on air, because their show is simulcast on CBS Sports Network. So the whole country gets to see this. But yeah, so I guess teaming up with a celebrity makes sense. It draws people in. If you read through the comments on a video, there's just people who know who GiA is, who had no clue who we are, but they are, commenting on GiA's golf swing or something like that. So if you can partner with somebody who has that vehicle to continue the conversation and mention our name, I think it makes the most sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's definitely just talking about that influencer playbook and using those resources to just keep on developing what you guys are doing. It's awesome. Preston?
Yeah, absolutely. And so kind of dovetailing off that, what do you guys plan to do and take advantage of this moving forward? Obviously, you got a ton of content with these guys that I'm sure you can break up into different pieces that you'll use over time, but just talk about plans moving forward and how you'll continue to leverage this.
Yeah, so with the Golficity, deal that we made with them, they created a couple of short form videos that they put on Instagram, just kind of setting up this long form video that was on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, good putt. So Kevin, one thing, you're the expert. We're gonna try to answer a lot of questions about handicaps.
All right, hit me.
A lot of people wonder, why does it change for different courses, or how does that flow? Because here we're playing a tougher course. Normally I'm an 8. When I put it in, it said a 10 here. So how does that work?
It depends on the course and the specific set of tees you're playing. So depending on that 10 somewhere else, it's more challenging based on the obstacles that are out in front of us. As you can see here at Ferry Point, there's lots of fescue and mounds, so it makes the course more challenging. So when the raters go out to rate the course for the handicap system, they're taking those things into account, which is why, depending on the set of tees you're playing, you'll have a different handicap.
Promoting a handicap, and they put a whole kind of scheme together for that. So we have one more short form video coming out from Golficity, and then, like you said, kind of using up and cutting up the video that is a 20-minute long video that covers us going through 18 holes of golf on a beautiful public facility. We are highlighting it in our newsletters to our members. We are Evervision newsletters, the 1st and 15th that went out in the last newsletter. Our communications team, in addition to our Met Golfer magazine, does a Met Golfer Extra on the off months that the magazine's not going out. So we're highlighting a piece on the YouTube video in that as well. So just getting all of our members in front of what we're doing to promote the association, promote Get a Handicap, and hopefully them sharing that with their friends and family who may not be members of the association, not members of a private or public facility where they are, but they know somebody who golfs. So taking advantage of that, and our Project Play, which we kind of launched this year in April, just to grow the game, to grow membership at the MGA, with us going out to public facilities throughout the metropolitan area, basically, 3 days a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So using what we've learned going to these facilities and meeting people, and then bringing the content from the YouTube video into it to continue to share that and hopefully promote the MGA.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an awesome transition into, obviously you took a lot of initiative to get this started, but for another association that is interested in doing something similar, are there any best practices or recommendations that you could give for them to kind of get into something like this?
Well, like I said, I kind of all started last year by going to an appearance at a liquor store. So just kind of paying attention. I happen to listen to that radio program every morning on my commute to work, and I get a kick out of it. Like I said, they talk golf, so it's pretty entertaining. But yeah, seeing what's out there. Every market's going to be different. But if this influencer playbook is a good list of what we should be trying to do as associations to grow our membership. And this was our kind of first stab at doing that. But it's just paying attention to the market, seeing who's out there, learning that this is into golf, and he might be a good fit. And then, I've seen other associations that have partnered with other content creators, and there's plenty of them out there. So just finding the right one makes things a lot easier for the staff at the association to be comfortable working with them. And the day of the video shoot, they were there, they interviewed the manager of the facility, and they were flying their drone, and they were professional, and they've been really professional throughout the entire process. And as we kind of close out this part of that process, we're looking forward to doing more with them in the next season, just because as how I think successfully felt everything's gone this year.
Absolutely. And then I was just going to say, based on these questions, just anything else, is there anything else that you would like to add about this project?
Just that it's been a lot of fun. We talked about it. We saw the influencer playbook, I guess a season or so ago, and it's something we've been trying to do, and we just didn't get the right time, or we couldn't find the right people. And it's just the way that this all came together. So I think we're proud of the way it all came together. We're proud of the way that it's kind of put the MJ in the spotlight a little bit, if you will, by getting the name out there to people. And that's the whole name of the game: brand awareness and marketing. And I know, Preston, you and I have talked about this for several years now. Just what else can we do as an association for the people who aren't members, but we know they're playing golf, to kind of get them and make them aware of who we are and what we do. And once we do that, then I think you got a hook to these golfers to be able to consider coming on board. So it's like I said, happy that it went well. Glad that there's 14,000 views of this video over 3 weeks. And us seeing the success of this and doing more of it. And I'll be the first to say that, I'm not a social media person. I'm not a technical person. So you have to have the right people and the communications team at the association or the people that you're going to be working with. But when it all comes together, it's pretty neat to see. We did share it with a group of people. We sent it to the USGA Regional Affairs team, and I sent it to the USGA Handicap department and their team. And the feedback has been pretty good. Appreciative, I guess, of us trying to do something like this. So it's definitely it's important for the associations to be using the content that the USGA provides to us to help grow our association.
Right on. Yeah. Well, first of all, just thank you for taking the time to answer all these questions about the collaboration with Golficity and Geo. It's definitely just talking about people using the playbooks and just how other associations can kind of get into that and do similar practices is super helpful. So thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
As a reminder, if your association would like to highlight a program or initiative, please reach out to me, Santana Shipley at shipley@iaga.org.